MC Hammer is one of the few rappers in history of hip-hop to go from being on top of the world to being flat broke with almost no money to his name. MC Hammer is a prime example of a tragic hero. Born Stanley Kirk Burrell in the city of Oakland, California, his rap career started in the late 1980s when he first started rapping for his own record company, Oaktown Records. Before he knew it, he had attained his preeminence for his claim to fame by gaining attention from his live shows. Burrell had been signed on to Capitol Records and released Let's Get It Started, which was a hit across the country. It set him up for one of the best-selling hip-hop albums of all time. Hammer, Don't Hurt 'Em, released in 1990. It featured his smash hit Can't Touch This. It also included the arrival of Hammer Time, which was also trademarked by his baggy parachute pants. During this time, at the peak of his fame, is when his reversal from fame had begun. Burrell's downturn from success to failure started with a lawsuit against him from musician Rick James. James had recorded his hit single, Super Freak, off the album Street Songs, recorded in 1981, which then got sampled in Burrell's 1990 hit single, Can't Touch This, off the album Please Hammer, Don't Hurt 'Em. When the single first came out, critics called it unoriginal. James sued Burrell for copyright infringement, claiming that Burrell had stolen the main riff from Super Freak. The lawsuit never went to trial. Instead, the settlement was made outside of court, with Burrell agreeing to credit James as a co-composer to the song, letting James in on the millions of dollars the album was making. The album Too Legit to Quit on Capitol Records came out in 1991. The album did not keep up with the sales of its predecessor, and the world tour ended up being cancelled midway through. In 1994, Burrell recorded the album The Funky Headhunter, followed by 1995's Be Inside Out. Both records were released on Giant Records. Sales from both of these records were not successful, getting Burrell dropped from Giant Records in '95. During this time, Burrell was signed on to Death Row Records and was sued by a number of previous backers for making them go through an abusive, militaristic atmosphere. On April 3, 1996, Burrell filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Before he filed for bankruptcy, Burrell had a 40-person entourage, a stable of racehorses, lavish cars, and a multi-million-dollar mansion he built in the hills of Fremont, California. In an interview taken a year after his bankruptcy, Burrell blamed his financial problems on being so involved on the creative aspect of his work that he didn't even pay attention to where the money was going, also stating that his priorities were out of order and they should have been God, family, community, then business. We can all relate to him for his affection to his fellow friends and family. After he had become a multi-platinum artist with great amounts of wealth, he started to invest in companies and potential rap artists that failed in every way. At the same time, he returned to Oakland to return to those that had helped him when he was an infant. He hired people in the hood and gave them responsibilities for which they were not prepared. MC Hammer, the creator of Hammer Time, the man who rose to the top of the charts with his raps and extravagant outfits, saw the best of both worlds. At a time he had it all, to later lose it. He has found refuge in church and has become a follower of God. He now gives charity concerts and will have a reality show coming in the following months.